Hey you guys, Dan Daly with Grit Overland here. I'm super excited to welcome you guys into our shop on a rare quiet moment after all the techs have gone home. I'm standing in front of a Grit Overland Link 148 all-wheel drive S2. That's a seat 2, sleep 2. If you haven't seen us before, those of you who are following us, you already know what that means. We're gonna do a full van tour. So stay tuned, check us out, watch the video to the end because there's some huge things that we know you're gonna like, that if you've been doing research and you haven't pulled the trigger yet, or you're new to researching vans, there's a lot of great info on this video that you're gonna see. If you've seen us already, enjoy the video and let's get started with an exterior tour of this van on the Ford Transit chassis. As you can see here, this Ford has all the bells and whistles on it when it comes to us from Ford. It's got the HID headlights. You've got the halo around the headlights, so it lights up the road very well. It's got a front camera. It's got a rear camera. It's got 360 cameras. It's got the blind spot notification and lane assist. It's got adaptive cruise control. Pretty much everything you can think of this van comes with on it. It's got a huge 12-inch touchscreen that you'll see on the inside. Heated power seats that both have swivels. And then we've put our touches on it as well. It comes stock with running boards. We've also added some BFG KO2 tires and then some Method race wheels, which have bead grip technology on them so you can air way down for gravel roads so you don't shake yourself to death on those, make the ride a lot nicer. We've added some vinyl, pretty subtle, a little bit of Grit Overland touch on there, but subtle to keep rock chips down. When the van comes to us, it's an empty shell, and we add everything to it. So you can see here a nice awning style window that fits the OEM stamp, looks really clean. You've got shore power charging with a nice stainless steel smart plug here. That'll charge it up to 30 amps through your inverter. This little guy is an exhaust tube from your Timberline heater. You've got your water fill port for fresh water and filling your tank, and also bypass for city water if you're parked at a campground or RV park or a friend's house or something. Follow me around here. One of the things I really like to point out, you may have seen this on some of our Instagram videos, these doors unlock all the way, and it's got these little knobs right on here, these magnets. And if you come all the way around, you can see these magnets actually will hold the door open. It won't hold open in a giant wind, you know, but it will hold in a really solid wind and keep those doors from closing on you or slamming the side of the door, the wall. As you can see here, the window over the bunk, also an awning style window. And then that will also clear the slider door when the slider door opens. You've got an external outlet that has a GFI circuit. So if you want to do cooking on your induction cooktop outside, or you want to plug in an e-bike to charge it, or whatever else you want to run out here off of 110 off your inverter. Logo there on the side of the van. We do add the black vinyl up here as well. That helps to protect the big side of this from getting pinstriped if you're getting off-road and getting into the backwoods like we like to do. Stock running board here for everything. You guys, I'm going to show you how the awning works on this. All of our vans come with a Flatline Van Company rack on the S2 model. Max fan up on top, and then of course a Dometic air conditioner as well. And a Fiamma F45S awning with the recessed lighting you can see there, which we really like because it lights up the awning once it's deployed. We're in a small section of the shop here, so the awning will go out. We won't put it all the way out, but the awning can go up to 8 feet extended from the van. We can get out pretty far here. And then one of the things I love about this awning is I can actually pop the leg out, and the awning is designed to support itself while it's being deployed. But you can see that I can actually grade this. So if you're in the rain, You can grade this and stake it down so that the rain will run off one direction. And therefore you have a nice dry area expanded for your living space underneath the awning. And then when you're ready to put it back, easy peasy. And as you guys can see, I actually wanted to put that whole experience in the video because one of the questions we get a lot is, well, why don't you use a power awning? 2 reasons. That took me, what, about 30 seconds to put it away. This is really easy to use, and there's no electrical parts on it to fail. We've often seen in the past electrical awnings that fail open while you're driving, and that's just a nightmare that's totally preventable and easy to eliminate by just doing an awning that's functional. There's a couple things you'll notice when you first get into the van here. This light is actually a really cool feature. This is the light from Ford that's repurposed. We've taken that circuit. So when you open or close the slider door, this turns on just to light up that step so that it's not turning on all the lights in the whole van, waking up somebody that maybe is sleeping in here. You got your 110 circuit here. You can plug your cooktop into, or coffee maker or anything like that. And then you've got your switches. I like to point this out because this is different than a lot of van builders, especially that are RVIA certified. A lot of manufacturers are really going to these fancy touch screens, and yes, they're cool. And yeah, they're really great to use. The problem that I don't like about them is the more electronics you add to things, the more complicated they get, the more failure points are put into that system. I like this. You got a dimmer switch here. As you can see, if I hold that down, it actually will dim the overhead lights. And if I turn it off, turn it back on, it's bright again. And then here you've got just simple on-off switches. So this is my awning lights. You can see outside, it's brightening up the area. They're recessed, so they'll actually light up the awning when it's extended at night and give you a nice recessed lighting. These on-off switches rarely fail. But in the event that they do, they take about 15 minutes to switch out. So it's really easy to use, very user-friendly, and less failure points, all about that durability in your experience. Here you've got flip-up countertop. Nice and solid, so when you're off-roading, it's not rattling and stuff. It actually has a magnet down here. So when I put it back down, it will magnetize to the galley, and it's nice and quiet. The next thing you'll see here, behind me is the shower. We'll talk about that in a second, but the next thing you'll see here is your toilet. This is a Dometic cassette toilet. You don't use it right here, obviously, on top of the door. Take it out and use it, and then it just goes back away when you're done using it. This one's a brand new toilet, never been used. This is what comes stock in the Link 148. You do not have to have this toilet. What we've done is we've created a huge compartment underneath the galley. So if you wanted to go really simple, like some of our other videos that we've done, we've talked about a collapsible toilet, or you wanted to go to a bigger toilet than this because it sits too low. It's all about creating a space for you that is functional for how you want to use your van. So we've tried to keep your canvas empty so you can use it the way you want to, essentially. Instead of pigeonhole you into what we think you should do. But this is what comes stock with the van, and you're more than welcome to replace that. This is a fully stock Link 148 S2 is what we're looking at today. Next on our list here is your shower. So as you can see here, when you have a magnetic enclosure that keeps the curtain closed, you just step inside the shower. And then once I'm inside here, I actually have tons of space to move around. The pan is all welded aluminum that's powder coated with a waterproof coating on it. It is graded to drain down into the drain basin, which you'll be able to see after we clean this thing up and put it away. But then inside here, you've got mesh pockets I like to put my shower handle in there, but that you can have, you know, body wash or shampoo in there, and then the water just drains right through it. I will point out this fabric is all hydrophobic. It does not absorb water. And when you're done using this guy, super easy to get not put away. You just open up this flap here, reach through, disconnect, and your hose comes right off of there, no problem. And what I like to do is if the handle still has a little bit of water in it, I just put it right inside the sink for a minute. Then I'll disconnect the shower curtain. Super easy to do. Now my shower curtain is all disconnected. Oops. And this thing is super easy to put away. Usually I'll let it dry off for a couple of minutes. But because it doesn't absorb water, it really dries off very quickly. It doesn't mildew because it's not holding on to water. And even if it got soaked, it was sitting in there, like you put it in a pool, it's not gonna absorb water, and it dries off in less than 10 minutes. Just fold it up nice and flat and set it aside. Now you can see in here, you've got your mixing valve here and your controls for your shower inside there. And then down here with your shower pan, you've got your drain basin, and all your water goes through into a gray water tank that's heated under the van. That gray water tank is the only part of the plumbing that is outside the insulated van. This is really important. This is a truly 4-season van. So if your van is heated, all the way down to like negative 21 degrees is the lowest we've had a customer get it down to with 40-mile-an-hour winds outside, and it was still 70 inside the van. So that's a 90-degree temperature swing. And when they called me from the van, they were wearing shorts and t-shirts. Once you've drained the pan all the way, you can dry it out if you want. And then just close that door and set it back here. It's got little retention straps. I like to set it like this at first. And then I just take my shower curtain, tuck it down inside there, give it a little bit of pressure to give it a squeeze to compress everything. And then it's nice and stowed. As you can see, it sits inside the profile here of wasted space. The reason we put it right here, there's actually really big purpose behind that. We used to store it inside the cabinet under the galley, but it took up so much valuable space. And what we found is when you put a mountain bike in here, the pedal will hit about here. So this ended up being dead space right there. So by disconnecting the shower from the galley and moving it back here, it was using the space more wisely. And not everybody wants a shower inside their van. Some people don't want it. So we made it so it's removable and they can leave it in their house or garage or wherever. Now that we've talked about the indoor shower, we're just going to jump right to the outdoor shower. The outdoor shower uses the exact same handle. Follow me out. So this thing is really simple. Usually simple means durable, not breakable, and very functional for many years. So you just take your handle here, insert it into the groove, twist it in place, and now I've got multiple settings that I can do. If I've got a dirty mountain bike I want to rinse off, if I've got a sandy dog or toddler, which is what I have is toddlers, but this way you've got a rinse station or an outdoor shower, whichever you prefer. And then in this H2O control center, this is also where you would, if you're going to fill your tank, you would put it on tank fill, and it just turns the valve so you can plug in a hose to the side of the van and fill the tank, or winterize, or you can actually bypass the water pump and just use this thing like in a little apartment hooked into city water. And then, of course, you've got your mixing valves here for hot and cold water as well. And that's pretty much it. When you're done with it, drain the hose out, and then the hose can get stowed wherever you prefer to store it. So we're going to start on the interior tour at the very front. Both seats do swivel around. I've left the driver's seat here because right now we've got in the S2, the Link sofa comes stock, and you'll be able to see that in a second. I'll sit over there. I'm in a swiveled passenger seat here. The thing I love about this is we actually make a bracket that mounts right here that you can move your Lagoon table over to here. And then I can actually swivel my driver's or my passenger seat, and it becomes the perfect workstation. So if you do laptop work and you're looking for a way to do this in a van on the road, this is the perfect way to do this. I've done it a lot. And then the great thing is the seat's fully adjustable power, so you can get it to fit perfectly how you want to, so it's ergonomic and your back doesn't hurt after sitting in a weird position in a van on the road doing desk work. I'll move over here so you can see what's next. This is the Link sofa. It's got a 4-inch thick seat and back cushion as well. And then below me, you can see this is all powder-coated aluminum, bungees here, absolutely cavernous storage, tons of storage, and then a Lagoon table mounted here so that you can have a work desk if you like that. This is fully adjustable height-wise, and then position-wise, obviously it also works for right there as well. Or if you wanted to swivel this seat around and have a table that works for both of you for meals and whatnot. Obviously very flexible seating space for a dinette or work table. I really love sitting here doing laptop work, actually looking out the door at the beach. It's one of my favorite things to do for when I'm having to do work in the van. And then when you want to get it out of the way for stowing it, you can just tighten this guy down. And actually what I'll do is, oops, going the wrong direction here. What I will do while I'm driving is I'll just tighten this thing down and just leave it right on here. That way it can't slide around when you're moving, taking hard curves and stuff. Again, pointing out the amount of storage in this thing is absolutely absurd how much storage is in here. The other thing too, the question we get a lot with these is, if you notice the bolt pattern here in the bottom, it's 8 bolts. If you've been looking at us, or you're like, hey, I really want something, because this doesn't have seat belts on the Link sofa. If you're wanting something with seat belts, we also do a fold-away bench seat that's been pull tested. It has 3-point harnesses. It's got car seat hooks. It forward faces. And then when you don't want it, it folds up against the wall. The bolt pattern for this sofa and for that fold-away bench seat is the exact same. It takes about an hour to swap them out. So really easy to do. If you have a family of 4, that's a great option, and we can easily do that right from the factory as well. So as we move back in the van after the sofa, we'll just point out the features of the galley here. You've got a Dometic Sink with a fold-away faucet. So when you want to wash dishes, it is plenty deep to actually wash real dishes in. If you've got a really big dish, you can kind of tilt it and get a little extra space in there. And then when you need that counter space, it's really nice because now I've got a whole worktop there. And the extended countertop goes all the way back. Obviously, if you want a huge countertop, you've got it all the way down the end of the van. One of my other features that I really like is if I really need workspace, then I've got tons of extra prep space here as well, with just half of the bed folded down. The next thing you have here, like we pointed out earlier, the shower. I love this. You've got slam latches that close and hold the doors, the drawers and the doors closed tightly, even if you're off-roading. Real kitchen-sized drawers. So you've got baked finishes on this wood, so it's going to last for years like this, and it's going to stay water-resistant, and it's going to stay wear-resistant for a really long time. And then on the galley, of course, it's all starboard, so water-resistant, marine, UV stabilized. And check this out. This is one of the things I really love that we do, that we've designed at Grit, is how deep this drawer actually is. So this is your induction cooktop, and it was set vertically in there. So you've got tons of space in that guy to be able to actually put plates in there vertically, huge cups stacked up, because it's actually 13 inches deep. So tons of space, like a real kitchen drawer, instead of like these little tiny RV drawers that we see standard in the industry. Your induction cooktop, you can plug in over there. You can plug in here, however you like to use that. This thing works great, very energy efficient, and comes with the van. Again, these are all stock features that you're seeing. This is a kit of a lot of your things that come with the van. We want you to be able to drive away with this thing done. So we actually include a couple things. Show you that in a second. So we actually send this van out with you with a pressure regulator for your water fill port on the outside of the van. And then we also add in this, it's called a blowout plug on the label, but what this does is it actually screws into the pressure regulator, and then you can hook up a compressor, an air compressor to this, and it will actually allow you to blow out all of your faucets and winterize your van with an air compressor in about 5 minutes once you know how to do it. So really simple. Again, stock features. We just include this stuff with the van to make your life easier right from the get-go. There's some remotes in here for the AC unit and for the your max fan remote here as well. And we just put them all in a bag so you have some place to keep them all. It doesn't have to end up in here. Usually it ends up somewhere else for the stuff you don't use every day. But again, nice deep drawers. Comes with a shore power cable. This is a 30-foot cable. It's designed for 30 amps. And we just include a dog bone. This is an adapter for 30 amps down to 15 amps for a standard 110 plug for the side of your house or something like that. And those all come with the van. Every window has a window cover right from the factory. So that includes your windshield and your driver and passenger window. It includes your crew window here, also your slider door and your back two windows. And then your little awning style window on the bunk window has a shade built in, or just a screen if you want more airflow, or nothing. And then of course it's a dual pane window, so it's very energy efficient, and you can lock it or just lock it halfway open. So there is a little bit of airflow, but people can't break into it easily. As you can see, as we move up from the galley, we've got a maple butcher block. It's all been coated with food safe coating. It's called Good Stuff. So very safe for everybody who's going to be in the van, even little kids. You've got a 110 outlet here on a GFCI circuit. You've got two 12-volt plugs. We do a standard barrel socket on purpose for 12 volts. USB technology has been changing so quickly from standard USB to USB 2 to mini to USB-C. We just put a plug in there and a 15 amp fuse, so you can run whatever kind of charger you need now and whatever kind of charger you're going to need in the next 10 years. Right above that is the thermostat probe for your heater, and then your remote for your max fan. And of course, you've got your under cabinet lighting here, and above that is a microwave as well. Up this direction is your control center. We do some touch screens, but they're pretty minimal to make sure that we're minimizing failure points. On this screen, you can see that you have, let's make that little black bar go away. This is kind of your full readout. Your inverter, your AC loads, the inverter's on, it takes energy. You've got your PV charger as your solar panels. How much DC power is going out, that's like your lighting, your refrigerator, your 12-volt circuits. And then your battery, and it's showing what the charge percentage is, what the voltage is, how many watts are moving in and out of it. So you have a really good picture of what's going on with your electrical system just from right here, on top of some of the other apps that we also have you download on your pickup day. Also in here, you can see your water tanks. So you've got a readout for your freshwater tank, which you can see in this van is a little over half full. And then you also have a readout or a sensor for your gray water tank, which is the heated tank under the van. So pretty simple, nice touch screen. And then right above that, you have your heater controls. In this van, we put a Timberline heater. So that Timberline heater is fantastic. It's what's called a hydronic heater. It's housed underneath the refrigerator. And you've got your output here. So those are totally adjustable louvers. You can point it whatever direction you want to, if you want it to go very up, or if you want it to blow toward the front of the van. If people are sitting in the front of the van, you want to heat that area first. And then you've got your air intake throughout the rest of the van here to cycle air through all of the cabinets and heat that air so it doesn't just sit stagnant inside the cabinets on a cold night. The Timberline heater is amazing. it has a little combustion unit under the van that runs off of your fuel tank, and it will actually pull fuel out, combust, and heat up coolant. And that coolant then cycles between the components that are inside this box and the combustion unit. It heats up that coolant, and once that coolant gets up to temperature, it just passes across a heat exchanger for either water or air. So when it passes through the air heat exchanger, then it will blow nice hot air into the van and heat the van up really well. And when it passes across the water heat exchanger, that's where you're getting your hot water, almost just like an instant hot water heater. It just takes about 10 minutes to heat up the coolant to the 188 degrees. It also has a thermostat, so it will never push water out that's going to scald you and burn you as well. So that temperature protection. It's a really good system. It's designed to not have maintenance on the system for years and years, which is a big deal if you have had an air heater in the past. Those air heaters really often need service like less than 2 years into the system, and this thing is designed to not need that service. It also adjusts to elevation very well. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest where we're at like 100 feet above sea level, it works great. Or if you're in Colorado at 10,000 feet, it also works great there, and you don't have to change any of the settings for that. Here, you guys, you have a Dometic CFX 345, so it's a 45 quart chest fridge. It fits perfect on this pedestal, so it's at a nice ergonomic height. You can open this thing all the way while you're loading groceries and unloading stuff when you're cooking. It has baskets in it, so you can actually take stuff out of it and clean the fridge out really easily. Yeah, it's really nice that way. It's got a light, tons of space. And some of the functions that I really love about this is that it's like 1950s technology. If you go into your local grocery store, you'll see open freezer compartments because cold air sinks. So every time you open this fridge, you're not having cold air dump out and then wasting energy because the compressor kicks on and has to recool the whole thing down like your front open facing refrigerators that may be in your galley or wherever else in the van. So again, thought process behind what we do. Energy efficiency. The more energy efficient we are, the smaller battery bank we can have and still have really good functionality, which saves money, saves open pit mining for cobalt and lithium and all of those things along the way. And one of the ways we can do that is a very efficient chest fridge. Again, the other thing we love about it is it's at waist height, so I don't have to bend down to get into it. It also has a really nice readout screen on it. You can set the temperature. It tells us exactly what the voltage is coming into it. Just very nice features, very simple, super robust. You've also got a USB charger right here, so if you're sitting here next to the refrigerator and you need to charge a phone, you've got that option as well. The next thing I'd love to show you in this van, you guys, is one of the things that really sets the Grit Overland Link 148 on the Ford Transit apart from everybody else. So this bed is not a sleeping sideways. If you notice, there's no flare right here, so we don't sleep this way. We actually sleep north-south, so you people who maybe have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, this is for us. So you don't have to crawl over anyone to get out of bed at night, and the bed is huge. It's actually 67 inches wide and 6'6" long, and it sleeps, again, north-south. I'm going to take this first piece of mattress and just set it aside for a second. And if you notice, the other thing I love about this mattress is, A, it's huge, so there's tons of space for two people. B, Ford Transit gift, we put the bed at a height where you can actually put an XL mountain bike with the front wheel off underneath the bed while it's down like this. So even you guys who are 6'6", 6'7", you can fit your bike in here with the front wheel off. And then we can also sit up in bed. So because the van is so much taller inside, the standing height is 6'6" inside the van at the middle. So you've got tons more space. And then of course, from where your foot of your bed is to the head of the bed up here is also 6'6" on a 4-inch dual density mattress made by Roamrest. So high quality products. The fabric here is 4-way stretch. It's hydrophobic. We actually had a customer that was washing their van and they sprayed water. They forgot to close the window. They sprayed water in on top of this mattress and it didn't soak in. It just puddled up and set on top of this fabric until they found it and dried it up with a towel. Pretty amazing product that Rome Rest makes for us. The other thing I like to point out is up here, since I'm in this space, this is an aluminum cabinet that we've wrapped with fabric, so it's really soft to the feel. It keeps the compartment more warm because there's not just a bunch of open metal. Same with this one. But then we've put all the touches on it to make it feel nice and soft to the touch and to be very dampened and quiet as well. Again, no flares. We're sleeping this way. With no flares in here or no sleep pods, whatever you want to call them, we've also added 5 inches of insulation. So I'm going to have Tyler hand me this thing behind the camera over there, and we'll just talk about our insulation system while I'm sitting right here. Is this okay? Yeah. Perfect. If you guys haven't seen it already, check out our other video, What's Behind the Walls. It's really how the sausage is made, and it's one of the things that really sets the Grit Overland Link 148 apart. And it's this right here. So the first layer that is behind those walls is a noise dampener and conduction brake insulator. So this thing is a 1/4 inch thick closed cell foam. It doesn't absorb water, which means it's not going to cause rust over time, and it also dampens sound and minimizes conduction of heat or cold through the outer skin of the van. The next layer is also closed cell foam, so same properties, except it's got Mylar on both sides, so it helps minimize the radiation of heat and cold through the air through into the van. Then behind that, you've got multiple layers of 3M Thinsulate. It's the 600 mil thickness of that. This stuff is a really special fabric. There's a couple things I love about it. In some compartments in this van, you've got somewhere between 1 and 3 layers, depending on how thick it is, and how we want to keep it so that it lofts, so it's trapping air in it, and that's what really gives you your insulation and climate control inside the van, which is very, very functional in these links. This 3-inch layer right here is exactly what's right behind here, which is what allows this AC unit to be super functional and control the climate and keep this van really cooled down, even in 95, 100-degree weather, so that your van is really comfortable and you can sleep well on those hot, if you're taking a nap in the middle of the day, or even on those nights. If you're in the south or something and it's very humid or hot outside, you can really cool the van down and keep it very comfortable. This Thinsulate has a couple cool properties. One, it also doesn't hold on to water. It's synthetic material. 2, when it's made in the factory by 3M, it's actually a zero waste product. So it's fibers that are spun together. There's a small fiber and a big fiber. The big fiber picks up noise and dampens the sound. And then the small fiber actually traps air and helps control that climate from cold or heat. And then, of course, like I said before, we put multiple layers of that depending on which compartment it is in. One of the things I'll point out over here, if you can take a look at this here, this is how deep the wall is out to the edge of the window. So it's a much deeper wall than, say, in a Sprinter van, and that is because of Ford. So Ford gives a much deeper wall, which means we can pack it with a lot more insulation and control the climate inside this van a lot better. And we take advantage of their structure, and we stuff this thing with Thinsulate to the gills so that your van experience not only climate control, but also noise dampening is very comfortable. If you've driven that van where, I'm going to steal a word from our sales guy, Kirk, if you've driven a camper van where it sounds like there's a one-man band behind you while you're driving, you will not have that experience in this van because of all of the things that we do with this and taking advantage of what Ford has given us, which is a really deep infrastructure. So you guys, check out our other video about what's behind the walls. And this is one of those things that's super special because it's new in the industry. People are not doing a north-south bed in a 19-foot van. So this is the place you'll find that. And we're really proud of what we've done. If you haven't, come check us out. Get on our website, call, schedule a tour here. You can actually come see the infrastructure in the van. There's aluminum infrastructure down the ceiling, down the upper walls, down the mid wall, and down the low wall to mount stuff to. so that this van is really quiet, really sturdy, and is going to last for generations. The next piece that's behind there is, this is one of the things that's in the walls, is this is our aluminum infrastructure, and that's up here so that we can drill and tap and add extra storage if we want all the way down the edge of the van. So we can add storage here, we can add storage up over the slider door or L-track, wherever we want to do. So you can add whatever kind of bags or storage you want to add in there. Even if you don't mind it over the bed, sleeping area, we can run it all the way to the back as well. The next piece in here is our wall panel. As you can see, that's that right there in a different orientation. There's multiple layers here. This fabric is really cool. It actually, we get the question all the time, well, it's pretty bright, which makes the van feel really tall and open, which is wonderful because it doesn't feel like a cave. But the next question we get is, can I clean that because it's very light colored? And the answer is yes, you can clean this. It has a rubber backer on it, a waterproof backer. This can be shampooed. Most stuff will come off just with a little bit of soap and water and a soft rag, a microfiber towel. And then behind that is actually a layer of closed cell foam, which also doesn't absorb water. And then this wood, it's actually grown in a sustainable forest. So it can grow in just a few years, and then they spiral cut it and cross lay it, and then it just grows back. And it's also genetically modified so that it doesn't use a bunch of water. So really great for the environment, and trying to do our part and use materials that aren't wasteful as well. The next thing I want to talk about in the van and point out is the gear garage and what's in the gear garage. So we're going to talk about three things in here: your electrical, your plumbing, and your storage space. What you'll see in here that you will not see in other vans is all of this extra storage. We've actually squished all of your plumbing down and all of your electrical down and added so much storage space in here. I mean, you can fit motorcycle boots in here, helmets, all kinds of stuff. And again, it's the same material that's in our drawer boxes. So yes, it's wood. It's high quality plywood that actually has a baked on coating. So it's very resistant to abrasion and water damage and stuff. I'm not saying you should spray a hose in there, but I'm just saying it's very durable, high quality wood. We got a question on a video recently that was asking us, oh, I thought you guys didn't do wood. We do a little bit of wood accents, so it looks nice. The butcher block, the storage cubbies, the drawer boxes, and of course the bamboo table as well. Under that, these storage bins, as you can see, you've got gear garage lights, one that you can turn off from the front right here. So if you're looking for something while it's nighttime and you're inside the van, or if you're behind the van and you're loading at night, you can also turn off this side gear garage lights and have access to a light without having to go around to one switch there. You've got your fuse block back here and your 110 circuits as well. And you have an auxiliary fuse block up underneath the galley as well for the galley stuff. So really easy to access everything. The other thing I'll point out is our electrical system is UL listed. So you actually have a breaker that will trip if anything goes wrong inside your battery, not just a fuse on it. The battery system is a Lithionics and Victron hybrid. So the battery pack is a heated 320 amp hour Lithionics battery that has its own internal BMS or battery management system, the brain in there controlling it, which equalizes all the cells, tells all the charging, counts the watt hours in and out of the battery. Super sophisticated, high quality battery that's going to last for many, many years. And then with it being heated, you also don't have to worry about the temperature in the van. If you let the van go down to freezing and it's winterized, you come out and you turn the system on, it will heat its battery plates up right away, and it's charging just within a short period of time, even after a very cold night or day. The other thing that we have in here is we have a 3,000 watt Victron inverter, Victron interface, solar controllers, high quality marine parts from Victron that really makes the system really robust. But we've done something different. In the industry, there's been this big push by several manufacturers to make a 51 volt electrical system. We actually helped design that system at one point. And what we found is, although it's very good and very functional and it can move a ton of energy, if you design your van right, it's unnecessary. And there's a lot of parts in there that have to talk from different companies that can fail. And when one of those fails, it makes your system unusable. And so what we did is we decided we were going to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to use 12 volts and get the same functionality. If you remember me shortly ago in this video talking about no flares, but sleeping north-south, that is the reason this works. So that 51 volt electrical system, if you haven't seen it, go watch my other video. It's ridiculous looking. It's me standing in a white room in front of a whiteboard. It looks boring. There is a ton of information in that video discussing 51 volts versus 12 volts, the pros and cons of each, and is the cost worth it for the possible headaches of failure points. And so what we did in this van, in the Link 148, we went back to a 12 volt system that still charges at a very high rate because we have 2 stock alternators from Ford. So we don't have to control those alternators. They're very robust. They come stock, so they're not going to void a Ford warranty. And we charge off of those at 200 amp hours. And so it can recharge our battery in just over an hour. One charge. Again, I want you to listen. If you haven't been listening to the electrical system talk and you zoned out for a second, pay attention to this piece because this is important. Your air conditioner can run for somewhere between 6 and 15 hours in that range on one charge of that 320 amp hour Lithionics battery. So on eco mode, on your Dometic AC, it will run for about 15 hours on one charge. And while it's still running, you just start the van and it will recharge the whole battery in about 60 minutes. All while the AC is running and you're functioning in the van. On eco mode, so it'll run for 15 hours. If you run it on high, because you need to cool down the van really quickly, it'll run for about 5 or 6 hours on high before you need to start the van and turn it on. Another great thing that this system does, if you forget, you leave your electrical system on. We've all had the woes if we've owned a van previously, or if you probably have a friend who's run their battery dead and then it was a fiasco to fix it. This system fixes that human problem, right? Okay, I got home from a trip, I had a great time, I forgot to turn my system off and it went dead. Well, guess what? This battery system has a 10% shutoff. So when it gets down to 10%, it will turn everything off and protect itself from going all the way dead and damaging itself. When you come back out, you turn the system back on, look at the screen. If it's at 10%, charge it right away. Really easy. What we've done is we've designed for the possible error of us being human and making a mistake. We want you to have a great experience with this van, and we know that the electrical system is one of the most complex pieces. So what we've done is try to make it as simple and robust and reliable as possible so that you have a great experience out on the road, because that's really what it's about. You're not buying the van just to own the van, most likely. You're buying it to go have a great time. The van should fade into the background to all of the adventures you're having. Let's talk about the plumbing system. In this side of the van, the first thing I like to point out is your 22 gallons of freshwater tank is in here. All of your plumbing in this rig is inside the van, except one thing, your heated gray water tank. And it's heated because this is a 4-season van. So as long as your van is heated, none of your plumbing will freeze. We've designed the system so you can have this thing down to negative 21 degrees if you want and have a great time and not worry about it. You should be able to just leave the heater on, go skiing, go split boarding, go out for the day, leave the heater running. It will take care of itself. It's got protective systems to manage itself. You don't have to worry about it. And come back to a nice warm van. Let your wet ski clothes dry off while you're having a meal or hanging out and relaxing. All of your freshwater tank is in here. And then inside the van, all of your plumbing runs across right here. And it's all insulated underneath it and then goes up into your galley for your shower and your sink. I want to point out something that you won't see in our competitors' vans. If I open this plumbing door, this is where I get access to my low point drain to empty my freshwater tank. Notice that all of these plumbing lines, they're all brass fittings into PEX. So it's kind of hard to see. There you go, like that. You can see it. PEX is super durable. Even inside the van, we're insulating. We're trying to protect you from making a human mistake and letting your system freeze, and making it really simple and high quality. Also, if you got hot water in the lines, those hot water lines are also insulated so that as it's sitting in there, you're not having to run, the water for 20 or 30 seconds before you get to hot water, it should hold a lot of that heat in, so you get a nice hot shower the whole time instead of cold, hot, cold, hot. But what we see in a lot of other vans is plastic fittings, not the brass fittings right from the factory. And what we've done is really just go for those things that are going to eliminate failure points. I still answer the warranty phone, me and Jake, the two owners of the company, and we care how your experience is. That's why we go direct to the customer, and it's why we want you to have a great experience, is also because we don't want you to have to call us. We want you to just have a great time and send us pictures and videos of all of the amazing places that you're going. So if you've been considering a van, but you're not sure if you've found the right quality, I encourage you to come check us out. Come see us in person. See the quality of the build. I know you'll be impressed, and that we build a product that you're really going to like. While I'm here, I'll also point out a few things here. If you look at the L-track in the floor, all of these bolts are through holes into nuts and washers, big fender washers underneath the van. No skipped holes. This is structural L-track through the bottom of the van. We've tied down many motorcycles in these vans, even up to like around 400 or 500 pound motorcycles, and gone 80 down the freeway, and it is solid. This thing is designed to be a work rig and a workhorse for your adventures. The other thing I'll point out is right here. These bolts are into threaded holes in aluminum frames. So all of the structures in this van are all welded aluminum frames, and all of those bolts and screws are into threaded holes. So it maintains a quiet, functional quality that's actually very serviceable. So if I had an electrical part that broke in here, I take a 5/32 Allen wrench, take those things out, take out a few screws, and I can access my entire electrical system. So it's very serviceable, even if it's 10 years down the road and an electrical part were to fail. So we've thought about your guys' experience in these vans. We really care about it. We would love to hear your comments and questions. And we really look forward to hopefully earning your business and being part of your adventures out on the road, having a great time, and expanding into maybe your bucket list. Ever since we started this company 5 years ago, the three Daily Boys, we have had a philosophy of always trying to make the product better. So there's a few things that are very important to us. One, it needs to be high quality. It needs to be the best we can possibly make it without compromise in that. Doesn't mean we're perfect, but we're doing the things to always create a high quality product. And we've passed that on to our team here in our shop, creating a 5-star experience for you as the end user. So this van, we truly believe, is a generational RV. We've built it that way: aluminum, UV stabilized plastic, high quality parts. We don't skimp on parts. We make it better so that your experience is better. Fewer failure points, better adventures, where that generational RV or this Link 148 fades into the background to your experiences. So you guys, give us a chance. Come visit us. Do a virtual tour with Kirk, our sales guy, and let us talk to you about the Grit difference so you can see the difference. And check us out. We would love to help you out getting out on the road.